earlier, bears the discretion of the court, taking into consideration all the conditions laid down in Muhammad Abacha v. State.
Loss of confidence in his legal team. Nnamdi Kanu told the court that he no longer had confidence in his lawyers. This bold statement didn't come out of nowhere. His case has been in court for years, stretching from his arrest in 2015 to now, and it has faced countless adjournments, appeals, and delays. According to legal trackers, there have been over 40 adjournments across different stages of his trial. Many Nigerians, especially his supporters, believe the process has become more political than legal. They argue that justice has been replaced with technicalities, and every court session ends with another postponement. To them, Kanu has been trapped in an endless legal circle where progress is slow and fairness feels out of reach. By firing his legal team, Kanu may be sending a strong and symbolic message. If the system won't defend me fairly, I will defend myself. It's a risky move, but it also reflects deep frustration. Many see it as his way of taking back control of his destiny, even if it means standing alone against the state. But there's another layer to this story, one that didn't happen in the courtroom, but behind the scenes. Could there have been disagreements or mistrust between Kanu and his lawyers themselves? Did internal conflict play a role in his shocking decision? Let's look deeper into 2. Mistrust and internal disagreement.
Has decided to conduct his defense by himself. He has a right to do so. We respect that decision. We wish him well going forward.
Behind closed doors, several reports and courtroom updates have pointed to serious internal disagreements between Nnamdi Kanu and his legal team. What started as minor differences in opinion slowly grew into a full-blown strategic conflict. Some members of his legal team reportedly preferred a diplomatic approach, one that involved quiet negotiations, appeals for leniency, and possible political settlements with the federal government. Their reasoning was simple. Kanu's case is highly political, and sometimes dialogue works better than confrontation. However, Kanu himself was said to favor a stronger and more confrontational legal fight. He wanted to challenge the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court, arguing that the court had no authority to try him under existing Nigerian law, given the international dimensions of his arrest and extraordinary rendition. These opposing strategies created deep tension. According to sources close to the case, Kanu began to feel that his lawyers were becoming too cautious and unwilling to take bold steps that matched the seriousness of his cause. As a result, trust began to fade, and meetings reportedly became more heated and less productive. In a case as sensitive and political as this one, once trust breaks down, unity collapses, and the defense loses its direction. So, when Nnamdi Kanu finally dismissed his lawyers, it wasn't just a legal decision, it was a personal statement. But could it also be that Kanu wanted something deeper, or the chance to speak for himself, in an exact manner that he deeply desired to express his matter, speaking for himself?
For many of his supporters, Nnamdi Kanu is more than a political leader. He is a voice that speaks for millions of people who feel ignored by the Nigerian government. Since 2012, when he began broadcasting on Radio Biafra, Kanu has built one of the most passionate followings in modern Nigerian history. His online speeches, often streamed to thousands of listeners across the world, gave many in the Southeast region a sense of belonging and courage. So, when he stands in court and speaks for himself, his followers see it as a continuation of that same fearless voice. In his mind, no lawyer can express his pain, his message, or his truth better than he can. Representing himself gives him the freedom to speak directly to the judge, the media, and the world without filters. To his supporters, it is a symbol of courage and conviction. To others, it shows a deep mistrust of the entire justice process. But behind this bold decision lies another layer of truth, one that many believe goes beyond the courtroom. Could political forces and external pressures be influencing his trial? Let's find out.
4. Political and external pressures. Let's be honest, Nnamdi Kanu's case is not just about the law. It's deeply political, as we have already in our previous series on Nnamdi Kanu. Many analysts believe there's strong political influence hanging over every stage of his trial. Since his rearrest in 2021, different reports have suggested that government interests often shape how his case is handled, from bail decisions to courtroom delays. Some of his lawyers may have faced indirect pressure from top officials or security agencies. In sensitive national cases like this, lawyers sometimes get warnings, threats, or intimidation that make them act with caution. To Kanu, that caution might have looked like weakness or compromise. He began to feel that no one was truly ready to fight for him without fear or limits. So he made a bold decision to take back full control of his case, even if it meant standing completely alone in court. For him, it was better to speak his own truth than to be represented by voices he no longer trusted. But this raises a bigger question. Could this decision be more than just personal frustration? Could it actually be a form of protest against Nigeria's judicial system itself? 5. Protest against the judicial system. Now, the big elephant in the room is that Nnamdi Kanu's decision to drop his lawyers is not just about legal strategy. It's a symbolic protest. By rejecting legal representation, he is openly questioning the credibility of the Nigerian judiciary. For years, Kanu and many IPOB supporters have claimed that the courts are influenced by political power and that justice in his case has been delayed intentionally. Since his rearrest in 2021, he has attended over 20 court hearings, yet no clear verdict has been reached. This endless cycle of adjournments has deepened his mistrust of the system. So, when Kanu stood up in court and said he would defend himself, it sent a strong message: I do not trust this system and I refuse to play by its rules. To his supporters, this was a brave act of defiance, showing he would rather face judgment alone than depend on a system he believes is corrupt. But to his critics, it's seen as reckless and risky, especially for someone facing national security and treason-related charges. Still, one truth stands out. Kanu's self-representation has turned the courtroom into a new battleground for political resistance. Every word he speaks now carries both legal and symbolic weight. And that leads to a bigger question. Is Nnamdi Kanu's bold move really about justice, or is it about taking back total control and power over his case? 5. Control and power over his case.
Let's cut the chase. Beyond strategy and protest, Nnamdi Kanu's decision is about control. Control of his message, control of his legal direction, and control of how history will remember his trial. For years, his case has been tied to political influence, delayed hearings, and multiple appeals. Reports show that since his rearrest in June 2021, there have been over 40 court appearances, yet no final judgment. Many of his supporters believe the long delays are part of a wider plan to weaken his movement and silence his voice. By representing himself, Kanu has decided to take back that power. He wants to speak directly, not through lawyers, not through court papers, but with his own words. It's both a legal and symbolic move that shows he still wants to be in charge of his own story.
So, What does all this really mean for Nnamdi Kanu's future? Has he made a bold stand for justice, or taken a risky gamble that could cost him everything he has fought for? One thing is clear. This case has gone beyond the question of guilt or innocence. It has become a test of trust, power, and truth in Nigeria's justice system. Every court session now feels bigger than a trial. It feels like a fight between a man's voice and the weight of a nation's politics. Whether you support him or not, you can't ignore how this story reflects the struggle of many Nigerians who still believe the system can be fair, but only if the truth is allowed to speak. And as this drama continues to unfold, one question remains. Who will win? The man, the movement, or the system? Drop your answer in the comment section. This has been a Blackish Gold original series. Click here to follow our full series on Nnamdi Kanu. See you inside.